When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're not sending you. They're not sending you. They're sending people that have lots of problems, and they're bringing those problems with us. They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists.
Lourdes Catholic School is a bilingual, bicultural school, pre-K through 12. Most of our students come from across the border, from Nogales, Sonora. They struggle sometimes in the morning. They have to get up very early because sometimes they have to be in line for 30 minutes, sometimes 45. We're very proud that our students, when they graduate, they can either go to a college or university here in the United States or in Mexico City, in Guadalajara, studying to be doctors or dentists.
Perhaps she'll die. There was a new lady who swallowed a spider. It wiggled and tickled inside her.
I like being in school on the other side. I actually don't see myself in Mexican school. I'm 18 years old, I'm a senior, and I've been going to Lourdes for, 10 years now. I noticed that people who went to high school in the US have much greater opportunities.
Go over there and look at their system, their educational system. You can't find one school that you can say is accredited. And over here, our secondary schools and our universities are all accredited.
The environment is different. I think the environment in the US is much friendlier. It's, certainly academically it's going to be better.
The readiness is all. I'm ready to go anytime.
My experience, and it started with the first wave of students that came to us from Mexico legally, was with Ronald Reagan. His program where he allowed the students from Mexico to go ahead. You can look at it, it might have been an amnesty program, but he allowed those students, and they came over by the hundreds over here to our school. So I started asking students, well, why do you want to come here? What's wrong with your schools over there? Well, first thing is they don't have the facilities that we have over here, the infrastructure of the education. I mean, if you go into their schools over there and there's no heating, there's no cooling, that's it. There's the classroom, there's the teacher, sit down, start learning.
Well, if I didn't have to cross the border daily, I would, first of all, be able to wake up an hour later or more, and simply it would be much easier. The sacrifice of having to cross the border every day wouldn't be there. But again, I still like it the way it is, and I like crossing the border and having this opportunity, this privilege.
A lot of kids that cross on a daily basis have their proper federal passport documents, their visas, to cross legally every day over here.
If you went up to St. Peter or somebody and said, I gotta go, I gotta warn my nephew, he's gonna fall off a cliff tomorrow. And they said, yeah.
Many occasions that, for example, you had a test or a big project presentation first period, and that you were all worried in line because you didn't know if you were going to make it.
Some of the things that you've already noticed that you're going to use as evidence in your essay.
The day the new administration came in, it was totally different. The first week was crazy, long lines everywhere, many questions asked the officers that you have seen for 5 years now that weren't there anymore. There were much meaner officers. It was totally different. The attitudes they have are very different. It definitely changed.
You have no idea right now.
Oh, there's another one. Another plane just hit. Right. Oh my God. Another plane has just hit. It hit another building. Flew right into the middle of it. Explosion.
After 9/11, everything changed. So before, it was only like sometimes 10 minutes crossing the border. Sometimes, I think the most was like 20 minutes or half an hour, but it was very easy.
When 911 came in to the scenario, okay? Now they started saying, take your time. Make sure that they're able to cross legally. Before they knew, come on, go through, they knew that, but now they can't do that for that one reason of what happened, because we had people from the outside who got in over here that said that they were using a visa, that they were university students that came here to learn how to fly a plane, and nobody ever checked on them.
I live in Mexico. My kids come to school to Nogales, Arizona. We cross the border every single day, and it's been like this for 9 years. When I was a little girl, my mom used to cross us every day, but the line would last 20 minutes, and that was a lot of time. I mean, 10 minutes to arrive to school from the border to school, or even less, probably 5 minutes. That was the time we spent in line, versus right now we can spend an hour or even more. You always have to consider a little bit more minutes. But then also, because if you get secondary inspection, that we get more often now, you don't know how much time you're going to spend there. If there's 3 cars before you that arrive to secondary inspection, you can stay there for like half an hour. You have to first drive through the x-rays, and then they tell you to shut off the motor of your car, and then some officers come to your car, you open your trunk, they look inside your purse or the backpacks, and then you get into the building. In the building, it's like a gate, it's like a little jail in there. You can't get out. You can't even go to the restroom there. So in secondary inspection, depending on how many cars were in front of you or how the attitude probably of the officer is, you get 10 minutes or half an hour. You never know.
You're exposed to attitudes that you don't control. It depends. Your grade on a test may depend on the mood of the officer that's currently in. So if he's in a grumpy or a bad mood, he'll just tell you a lot of questions, question whatever you tell him, and that might make you go late and come in late and miss the test. So that's a bit sad sometimes, frustrating, but again, it's part of being in the border.
You never know how much time you're going to spend there, and you never know if the officer is like in a bad mood and he's gonna, and you can't say anything. I mean, you have to be very respectful, but very quiet of whatever you say, because you don't know if they're like in a bad mood that day or that morning, and just because they want, they can leave you there. I had a friend here from school with her 3 kids. She forgot her sentries at home. So they had to get down from the car, and then she got with the kids out of the car and went walking through the entry where you can go inside, cross the border walking. She explained to the officers, my kids are U.S. American citizens. I cross every day. You can check with their fingertips. You're gonna find their history there. They sent her to secondary inspection while walking because there's another little room there. Girl was almost crying, "Mom, keep quiet." "But I don't want you to be late to school," she said, and you can cross because you're an American citizen. And the officer was like very rude with her, And then she asked to call with her higher position of the officers there. And then she told him, my kids were born in the U.S. and all this is happening and it's already late. They're going to get late. They're going to be late to school. But I just want you to know that their rights are not being respected. I want my kids to know that no one, even in Mexico or in the U.S., has to be rude with them because they're not being disrespectful. They did let them cross. They were inspected, all their bodies. And she had a really bad time that morning.
I don't know what to say. It's very crushing to see how they racially profile you just on how you look, the color of your eyes, of your hair, your skin. Seeing those kind of attitudes, it's very sad. But again, since they're the authority and they have the power, and many of the times they have used their power, you can tell them anything. I've seen times where people that weren't even U.S. citizens weren't asked any questions just because they were blonde and had blue eyes. So that just means that they're looking for certain traits. They are racist.
There's been a problem since I was a kid with wait times coming across, okay? Because there wasn't enough agents, there's still not enough agents. But the only difference that there is now is that it's backed up because they're more careful now. They want to make sure that your visa's not forged, there's not fake documentation, and it takes longer to do that.
Also times that, for example, there was mass at school and you didn't want to be late, but again, you were stuck in line, and not because there was only one line open, or my migration officer was being very picky or asking too much questions, and just not knowing if you were going to be late or not. It's tiring, but again, it's part of the deal.
Nosotros vivimos en la frontera y yo como padre quiero lo mejor para mi familia, para mis hijos. Por lo tanto, yo creo que la mejor educación es que ellos estudien en México y en Estados Unidos, que sean biculturales, que sean bilingües. Y nosotros tuvimos la oportunidad que ellos nacieran en Estados Unidos, pero también son ciudadanos de México.
How many of you speak English and Spanish? Both, yes, English and Spanish. Why?
Because we're learning a lot.
Because we're not. That was cool.
We take pride in our diversity.
¿Para qué?
We're bilingual, bicultural, so we're very unique in that sense amongst all the other schools in the area. They can go and translate to companies, especially to doctors or hospitals, clinics. They can translate for the families so they can understand what the doctors are recommending or suggesting.
It's very impacting. I like it a lot. It makes it different from other schools because instead of having, for example, a school in Colorado or Washington, Connecticut, that have a perspective to the U.S. and to what they know, being in the border and jumping from a country to another every day and knowing two cultures and being constantly exposed to all these changes and these environments makes us have a global perspective, and you understand you're more open-minded. I've seen you're more friendly. You want to know, you're curious about the world, and you start questioning attitudes that are racist.
Well, something I've heard before is that if you meet a Mexican or an American or a Russian or like a Korean, you haven't met the whole country. So like that person does not represent all the country. A lot of people are different. So I guess I see Mexicans as hard workers. And like you could probably out-talent us, but you can't outwork us.
Lenguaje, ciudadanía y cultura, yo creo que les va a dar más ventaja competitiva en el mundo o en la vida. Yo no sé si ser ciudadano americano sea mejor o sea peor. No sé. Pero nosotros tuvimos una sola oportunidad de salir adelante, pero yo creo que tuvimos una carta con la cual jugar. Ellos, él y sus hermanos, tienen 2 cartas. Tienen más oportunidades, pueden trabajar allá, pueden estudiar allá, pueden desarrollarse allá, pueden trabajar aquí, pueden estudiar aquí, se pueden desarrollar aquí, o en ambos lados a la vez.
I guess the benefits is that you can go to visit 2 countries in one day and experience both traditions.
I like that it's in the border and that we have the opportunity to jump around from Mexico to the States again.
Be bilingual, which is very important.
I am. Yo soy. Quiero. Tú también. Tú también y tú también. Okay.
And you can communicate both in English and in Spanish. You can learn about the cultures, their traditions. And being a bilingual school, we do both traditions and celebrate them and make the kids involved. I think it's just better opportunities in life. Being bilingual is something that will open many doors for our students. And right now, maybe some of them don't know the benefit, but at the end, if you're bilingual and you can read and write and speak in both languages, you know, it's much better, or better opportunities for my students. When you're in a border town, it's normal to, you know, go back and forth, even 2 or 3 times a day. When it was too long, because it was right there by the border, we would walk. I think that, you know, there is tension. There is tension with our parents, worried about what's going to happen. I think that the wall is not a good idea. We have fences, we have laws, and I think that whoever will cross the border is going to cross it, and they're going to make they'll figure something out, and I just think that that's money wasted, and it should be focused maybe more on education.
You always want to be a good neighbor, okay? But I've always told the people in Mexico when I go to meetings there, I have a right to know who's in my backyard. That's my right to know. And I don't believe in open borders, because we have to make sure that the citizenry here is safe. And we have a right to know who comes over and who's going to be in the backyard. Well, let's say we build a wall. Well, what's the difference of us building a wall and President Reagan going to Germany and saying, Mr. Gorbachev, take down that wall? So you have a president like Ronald Reagan telling a foreign country, take down that wall? And we have another president saying, build that wall? I mean, we're sending a different set of values to the entire world of what we are about.
Border patrols should take care of the border, and you know, a wall is not going to stop Mexicans from crossing.
We need to have a good relationship with Mexico. If we don't have a good relationship with Mexico, there will be another foreign country that will want to have a good relationship with Mexico that could and probably will be adversaries of the United States of America.
People that support him to know that we're nothing like he describes. The Mexican culture is, well, as you've said, it's a very hardworking, very dedicated, very loving culture. I want people to understand that it's a sacrifice, but and since it's a sacrifice, they're not going to risk everything for doing bad. They're all in on doing good.
Those students in Mexico want to come to the United States no more than any other different foreign student does. Our educational system here is a very well established and credible institution of learning. We produce a lot of great students throughout the United States of America. That's why these people. And what backs up that is our economy. They're going to get good paying jobs here. It's nice for them to want to come over here, you know, because it says a lot about our system here. But we want to make sure, like everybody else, that they pay their way. Our economy cannot be just a singular Arizona economy. Sonora can't either. We have to cross with each other to make sure we can sell our products and work together.
I don't think the education over there is as good as it is here. That's why my mom and dad wanted me to be born in the United States so I could have that American citizenship, and will get me to school over here so I can have more opportunity and go further than I can in Mexico.
They're here on a free ride. They're not here on a free ride. All you got to go do is ask, how much money do you collect in tuition? It's all public documentation.
My parents don't have to pay a lot of money for me to come over here. That's the sacrifice they're doing so I can go further. My dad always tells me he wants me to be better than him, but I just want to be better than myself, but I just want to make him happy. I want to make him proud.
For having the opportunities they have, the privileges they have, simply by having all those opportunities right next to them. There's many students like me that cross the border every day, and although it might be tiring, are willingly doing it every day to achieve the same as them. So I would tell them to be thankful and to be more open-minded and understand that it's not just them. There's more people around the world in their country as well that go through different things in life.
Yo creo que no ha sido sacrificio, es parte de la vida.
Going to school on the other side, it means a lot of time that they have to be with us, and for example, till last year that they had to take us every day. It meant a lot of time, and they're just like any other parents. They go to work, they cook meals, they have meetings, and it's just a normal day for them. But on top of that, they have to drive us, and they have to go through the border. So it's different. I will know it's a sacrifice for them. It might be hard sometimes, but they always do it with love and with a good intention.
But our parents are very good. They usually are there in line very early in the morning. I am an alumni, and I graduated from Lourdes Catholic School, and so I love the school. It's in my veins. It's almost like I can feel it.
This was my life. This is where I was born, and this is where I enjoy being.
All the classrooms, by the time they're seniors, they graduate, they have bonded, and it's like a whole family, the whole classroom. You don't see any like classmates anymore. You see more like a sister or a really close friend.
I wasn't in a university yet, so I'm undecided. I'm in between the U of A in Tucson and University of San Francisco. I want to study medicine. I'm not sure what major though. I think it's either biology or physiology, because I want to be an orthopedic surgeon.
It's hard.
Mostly because I love helping people. So I just get this satisfaction that I cannot get anywhere else. So it's just like helping people out, getting a thank you, a smile, or just the fact that I helped someone makes me feel really good. So, and that's why I want to become a doctor. Probably become the first doctor in the family, in my whole family. So that's something that I know would make my parents really proud.
To work around my community, to help my community here in Nogales, Sonora, and Nogales, Arizona. To become a tool for my community, to show the world, the United States, that we're here to solve problems, and that we're not part of the problem, we're here to solve it.
Did you paint it?
Yeah,
Yes. Who helped you?
my mom.
Good. Then
We have to work together. We're interdependent upon each other, and people don't understand that. The Mexican people are human beings. The people in the United States are human beings. Let's act like human beings. Let's treat each other with kindness and respect. And let's work around the table, not pointing guns at each other or insulting each other like that.
We all want to help one another. Human beings are like that. We don't want to hate and despise one another. In this world, there's room for everyone, and the good earth is rich and can provide for everyone. The way of life can be free and beautiful, but we have lost the way.